All right, hello everybody. We are here at the Atlantic Hotel, or the Atlantic Hotel on the Avenue here in Delray Beach, Florida, formerly a Residence Inn by Marriott. And you can kind of see out this window. We're on this at the top of the garage right here. Apparently there used to be a rooftop pool on this thing. I guess that was probably used when Marriott was around. But it looks like they no longer use that. I mean, it's kind of an interesting thing, but also, I mean, low-key looks a little unsightly, seeing it fall into disrepair. I mean, I don't know if it was a liability thing as to why they stopped using this, but it'd be kind of cool to see that activated again. Maybe get it up to a certain code, so it could probably be used again. But luckily, this hotel does have a functional pool. But that's not the point of this video. We are going to be taking a tour of room 415. And I will give you guys a little bit of a warning. It is still quite a bit of a mess inside. Housekeeping did not do this room yet, but we had a do not disturb sign on it for quite a bit. And also on top of that, this is more of like a Residence Inn type room, so they probably don't come as often as you would think. But anyway, let's take a tour of what a Atlantic Hotel by Opal room, formerly a Residence Inn by Marriott room, is like. So of course, starting at the front, you got your latch lock, you got this little electronic deadbolt thing right here, and you got a peephole. That doesn't have a cover, but it still does the job, and you can see right out into the hallway. Plus a clearly readable fire map. Very simple layout, not really too complicated. The thing is though, it doesn't necessarily show where the elevators are or the exact layout of this place. I mean, I guess it gets a job done, so if you're in an emergency and you need to evacuate, but it doesn't necessarily show where every little detail is, unlike some other maps. You know, minor point, but you know, again, it still does the job. But yeah, you could tell this room is very well kept over here, and you can actually see right away the the Residence Inn by Marriott type of vibe over here. You can see we got basically almost a fully sized kitchen, minus there being an oven, but typically that's to be expected in a lot of places like this, you know. So of course you got your microwave, which we haven't used, and it was clean before. What is that in the back? I mean, that's probably just a little something. It's not a stain or anything. Minor thing, the clock wasn't necessarily set when we first came in. I actually had to do that. I mean, it's not a big deal. I could set a clock, you know, but usually it's nice though to have that already set by the time you get in already. My cousin got some high noons, and we're also storing some water in here. But it does seem pretty clean. This also looks really clean too. There's no water in it, unlike the Staybridge room. Haha, Wesley, I know you're probably watching this. You know, and it also gives you the information as to, you know, what the business center's like, the Wi-Fi. Apparently they got laundry, dry cleaning, what to do if there's an emergency, you know, the fitness center, the breakfast hours, you know, you got all that stuff here on the fridge. You got your freezer compartment right here. You can kind of see this is where the ice is made, so you can take as much as you want. Ooh, you know, I could actually probably use that for my metal water bottle. That's nice. But yeah, you got all the ice trays right here. It's nice and freezing. So yeah, you got all your amenities of a extended stay property. Yeah, these are definitely clean. You got an electric stove right here also, which seems to be pretty common in places like this. You know, you got your plates, your dishes, you know, typical extended stay stuff. Even though we're not really using it all too much, it is nice to have. You know, and we do have 4 of us actually sharing this room, which is the reason why we have this big monstrosity of a room. You know, this is my aunt's. Yeah, I don't think this is the hotel's. But yeah, it's very well appointed. And it definitely does the job, 100%. You got your coffee maker right here. This is probably going to turn on once I open it. What is that? Oh, that is part of the material. Okay, so this thing actually is clean. I was going to say, because we've had no issues with this, with cleanliness on this property, luckily. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be, because, I mean, this is one of those places that does hold a higher standard. It's not necessarily a Marriott anymore, but it definitely does hold a higher standard for being a hotel of this class, especially being in the extended stay family, because we definitely got, you know, a big suite. So there is a lot of upkeep and there is a lot of expectation. Chairs seem really nice. There's a weird scuffing on it, but that's kind of weird, but it's not excessive. Furniture seems really nice too. This actually even does feature a sleeper on it, which I'm not necessarily using. Not necessarily because I'm scarred from Staybridge, but we have enough beds to fit everybody. So it works. You also got a little spot right here where you can lounge out on. You know, you also got your little power outlet right here. I didn't test this power outlet, but I would imagine it probably does work. You know, and it does have regular USB, USB-C, which is nice. Hotel telephones for security, and it does work. You can also see some of the cord management actually is behind this thing. They actually do manage to hide the cords pretty well on this thing in this room. LG flat screen TV, and of course you got your thermostat right here with digital thermostat and an option to keep the fan on constantly, which is really, even though this is not the biggest urban setting in the world, we do have a lot of cars, especially some motorcycles with loud exhausts and everything. They just come roaring right through here. So to actually have that, to be able to drown out the sound is nice. So anyway, I guess we'll start with the cave before we move on to anything else. I mean, I'm sure you're probably wondering, okay, why is there, pardon the mess in this room, by the way. Again, housekeeping did not come to straighten out the beds or anything. And this is a lot of our mess. So imagine what this is like without the clutter. But yeah, when we came in this room, though, we noticed that there's no window. That's because there's a room right next door to us. And if they were to put a window in here, we'd basically be facing in the other room. So that's the reason why the room is like this. It's fine. I mean, as long as we have a working clock and we have a way to get light to see what we're doing at night, which is why this guy is on, we're able to make do just fine. Plus, you can even see under the door through the window, or you can see the light coming through the window under the door, and you could see, you know, whether it's daylight or not. You can see I'm storing some clothes in here. They're able to fit the iron and ironing board in here, which is quite nice. They give you plenty of hangers. You know, these are some of the weirdest hangers I've probably ever seen. This is like the smallest hook I've probably ever seen on a hanger. At least this one's pretty normal. But if you're trying to hang one of these in the bathroom to steam it when you're taking a hot shower, it's a little hard to do with those things. And also, we do have a safe in here, which does work. The only criticism I have is that it's one of these wall-mounted ones, as you can clearly see. So if you're able to, you can probably store a laptop in here, no problem. I personally like to flat load it when I put it in safes. So in this case, I would have to put it on its side just to fit it in here. So it's not really the most electronic friendly thing in the world, but if you need to store like important documentation or other miscellaneous small items in there, you can absolutely do so. It works just fine overall. You have this little piece of furniture right here. Drawers slide really well. The weird thing was, when we came in, this thing was more this way. So the door was able to just open right into this thing. But one of the first things I did, probably the first thing I did when we came in here, was move this piece of furniture just so we'd be able to swing the door open. Because you could probably even see, it probably was like that for a bit. It does have a few nicks and stuff on it. So just to prevent it from getting any worse, I did move it for them. So you're welcome, Atlantic Hotel. Oh. But anyway, we got the two double beds over here. This is the one I'm sleeping in. I guess we'll turn on the light just to make sure that we get a little bit. Clearly this was slept in, so you're obviously not going to see exactly how it is when housekeeping does it. But of course, you got you got a top sheet, a little bit of a, I think you, I mean, I guess you could say a little bit. It's not necessarily a comforter, but it's almost like comforter-like. It's definitely just like a thicker blanket, kind of, sort of. There's the bottom sheet. All seems perfectly clean. This mattress is actually really comfortable. Pillows are really nice. It's another very nice pillow. That one actually is a little bit more lumpy. But I mean, it's not terrible, but that's why I have it on the side, just because these provide more support. Oh, look at that. It's got a mattress pad on it. Almost like something you'd see in a dorm room. That and the mattress, minus a couple stains, seems to be in good shape. I actually don't know what kind of stain this is. I don't think that's a crap stain. I actually don't know what those are. But anyway, there is a big mattress pad between me and that thing. So honestly, I can care less. Again, it's not like Staybridge where it was a freaking rainbow. So that's not necessarily a deal breaker for me. I don't know what that could have been, though. That's honestly kind of odd. But anyway, I have something separating between me and that. So, you know, they might want to treat the stain a little bit if they can. But I wouldn't say that this is a throwaway mattress, you know. But they should probably keep an eye on it. You got another working hotel phone in here. I think there's like at least 2 or 3 of them in this unit, just because of how big it is. And here's the alarm clock right here. Another thing I actually had to set because, I mean, well, it was working, but it was 5 minutes behind. You know, small pet peeve of mine. But anyway, I was able to take care of it, no problem. Drawer slides really well. And I got a small little LG TV. And you got the bathroom, which again, part of the mess. My cousin just showered. He's out right now with some friends of his. And I used quite a bit of this last night. But anyway, this is just like what you would see in any other extended stay property or residence in property. Sink works really nicely. They give you a lot of bath amenities, which is nice. You even got some storage down here. And you also got towels too. Again, they obviously have a lot more than this. A good majority of them have been used already. So I guess maybe tomorrow they're probably gonna give us more towels. We do have a couple more nights here, so we'll see how that goes. Got your toilet paper right there with the toilet. There's plenty of space throughout this bathroom. You'll have absolutely no problem doing everything that you need to in here. Now we get to the shower. You know, it is a nice shower, but I gotta say, this is probably the weirdest shower handle I think I've ever used in my lifetime. I mean it. You know, first of all, the shower head is a little bit worn. It does work well, but it is a little bit worn. But to use this thing, you gotta pull this thing out, and it'll start running. And no matter how you turn it, you see how the water just keeps going? It's like, no matter where you turn it, this water keeps going. So this is really just controlling temperature. You can see it getting hot, cold, which the water does get really hot fast. But to shut it, you have to push it in. So this is probably the weirdest shower handle I've ever used. Because when I used it last time, I was like, okay, twisting this around. How do you turn this off? And there was points like it was running like crazy, but then there was points it was like somewhat running, but it looked like it was shutting off. Okay, that's weird. So I'm still playing with the handle as I'm still sitting here in the shower, and I'm like, how do you turn this off? Like, there's no way that there's no offsetting on this. And then finally, I noticed like once you push this thing all the way in, the water goes off. You know, I guess in a house that could be passable if you're in the same shower every day, but with guests coming in, every single day or every few days. I mean, how many people do you think have trouble controlling this? That is just crazy. I've never seen anything like it before. But yeah, other than that, the shower's really nice. Give you plenty of amenities. It's nice and bright. You even got a little surfboard. All right. So right as you step out of the bathroom and out of this room. Oh yeah, by the way, but one thing I failed to mention before is one of these switches does absolutely nothing. So you can see this light right here, or this switch controls the light inside the closet. But when we first stepped in, before we found the switch for this guy right here, this switch does absolutely nothing. You would think probably maybe it would control an outlet where this thing would be plugged in, but you flip it around, it does absolutely nothing. So I don't know, that's a weird thing. Because I came in here, I'm like, okay, how do you turn the light on? So now you come right back into the foyer area. Oh yeah, and these windows also open too. You know, you can unlatch them, and you can also open this too, if you so please, if you do not want to run the air conditioning and get some fresh air. So now we get to the master bedroom. This is where my aunt and my mother are staying in. Again, you could see it's basically the same kind of bed. It actually looks like it has the same kind of mattress protector or the mattress pad on top of it. You know, got the same alarm clock, phone, except 2 nightstands on both sides. And their own little thermostat so they could set it to what temperature they'd like it. And basically a similar closet. You know, also even has another iron and ironing board in here. So they basically have 2 in this entire unit. That's pretty generous of them. And then you can see all the linens for the pull-out sofa in here, which seem very clean. Plus, you know, the flat screen TV. I'm sure they probably have stuff in here, so we're not going to go through here. The view is just basically looking out at the pool. So, you know, again, you could see it's very well kept. You know, but there you go. You have the pool right there with a nice big palm tree. And you can see Atlantic Avenue right there, which I guess we'll take a little bit of a look at that. So you pull this up. And there's the view. So you see Atlantic is right there, and round A1A is back that way. Okay. Door slides also really well. So yeah. Oh wait, also the bathroom too. Forgot to mention that. This has an outdoor sink. This has a basically outdoor sink. It's basically a separate sink from the bathroom itself. So you got the shower stall and the toilet separate from one another. You know, you got your shower curtain right here. Shower curtain has no visible mildew on it. So they're cleaning and replacing these on a regular basis, which is nice. And you got the same goofy shower hand. I'm sure maybe this might be a little different. No, I don't know how you do this. It's probably the same goofy shower handle. But anyway, this is their side, so I'm not really gonna mess with it. So yeah. It's just like many extended stay properties or something pretty similar. I mean, and I've always thought Residence Inn places are really nice. I actually have stayed at one in Braintree before with another friend of mine. I never managed to film the hotel because we were out and about doing so many things. But I remember being in there and it was really, really nice and well managed. You know, and I know this is not necessarily a Residence Inn name anymore. This is basically the Atlantic Hotel. Or the Atlantic Suites on the Avenue is the full name. So I know they change hands, but At the same time, though, it's still, for the most part, pretty well kept. I know there's a few quirky things that we found in this place, but other than that, you know, it's clean, it's safe, and it does a good job. The hotel does a great job for what it is, you know? So I don't know what the ongoing rate is exactly. I would guesstimate it's probably within the 200, 250 range mark. I'll be able to look that up and throw it in the video description for you guys. But yeah, for what you get, it's great. You know, no, hardly any cleanliness issues, you know, and just a few quirky things, if anything. But it's well kept and it's well managed. So if you're in the area and you a little bit more on a budget and you need a bigger room, I would say this is your place. And basically the beach is back that way. You go a few hundred feet down Atlantic Avenue, you hit Route A1A, and you're right along the beach. So anyway, that's it for this. I know this room is a little bit of a mess, I'm sorry, but this is pretty much the only time I can do this. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this one. And that is it.